But I don't believe that's gonna happen, they don't think it's gonna happen. But if the most it can cost us is 12.5%, which is $400,000, which seems to be a little crazy, doesn't it?
And there's even somewhat of a problem with that, because even if FEMA says they're gonna pay the 75 or 80%, I believe it's 75%. The problem is, when you put out the RFPs, the local contractors bid, they get to work. When they work, they have to be paid. They have to buy diesel fuel, they have to buy their health, they have to feed their families. We don't get paid from FEMA for, at the very least, months, and most likely years. So we have to foot that bill till FEMA money comes back, if this is the way it goes down.
But isn't that what the reserve is for? Isn't that why the reserve, the money that you have reserved is for that purpose?
No.
Well, it
No,
should
each
be.
reserve account is set up for a specific use. A reserve account for buildings, in the event you do work on buildings, for equipment, in the event you need to buy equipment, every department.
And where can a resident find a breakdown with this? So we can see
A
what's in
breakdown
the,
of what?
of the reserves.
Right at the office, it's public record.
On the internet.
If you go to the town website at the last December's
2010.
August meeting, December 2010, that'll give you the breakdown as it was then. But to have a current breakdown, if you come to the town board meetings, you'll see that they have budget modifications and there's board motions. They're making payments out of reserves, and that all has to be done at a town board meeting. So that's in the minutes also. But you'll see where the reserve balances were as of December. To get them now, you'd have to speak to the bookkeeper.
The state of New York says that reserve funds should be set up so that they're reviewed on a regular basis by the board.
They are.
That they should be included in the budget, that their termination should be considered at all times, and if they've outlived their purpose, they should be terminated, and that they should not be used to park cash. So there should be public discussion, and there should also be a legal review on an ongoing basis of the purpose of the reserve funds and whether they have outlived their purpose. Where has this public discussion occurred? Because the last time I was here, I heard someone say, I think it was Bruce, that the reserve funds cannot be terminated, and that is a false statement.
I didn't say they can be terminated. I said if they are, they have to be completely terminated.
Fine, but where has the
So you
discussion
have to-
been about
so if you
terminating
have a
that?
building account and you want to use the building account, if you want to close the building account, you can close the entire building account.
Where has the
So then when a
review
roof
been?
blows off a building, you can fix a roof.
When I looked at the proposed budget that you set forth last time, I did not see any line items for reserve funds. Why not?
Because the form that you looked at is a state form that we use and every other town uses, and it's on there. The review of these reserve accounts are done on, well, me and the bookkeeper send it to the town board quarterly. They get it at the end of the year. It's a public thing all the time. All you got to do is look at the internet, and you'll know exactly where it is. Now, to say that we just park money there and don't use it, that's not true. This week we used $8,000 that we transferred out of there. So it's being used here and there, and it's used for the purpose of that capital reserve account. It's
So
not just sitting in one little
review all
pot
the reserve
somewhere.
funds, tell us what's in there, and go over why they're needed, and how much money you would keep in there until they're terminated or reduced, and they can be reduced. Incidentally, it's incorrect that they can't be reduced.
Personally, we don't think there's that much in there that's gonna take care of an emergency if we need it on the buildings, on the trucks, on the landfill, on
How much is in there?
the building like this one.
800,000.
I thought
They're there
200.
for a purpose. We use them. It's not my idea. We've been doing this for years. Vince Barringer did it himself. In
The
fact,
question
he's
isn't
the one that
whether
brought
you
up
should
the
have reserve
point
funds.
that
The
we should
question
do.
is to review the reserve funds,
Not a
make
bad
clear what their
idea. It's
purpose
a good
is,
idea. It's like
make
having
sure
a
people
CD
know
somewhere.
how much should be in there, when is enough
Mr.
enough.
Lambert, that is done at the end of the year when we go over the budget and we do review the reserve accounts
You do a
and go
public
through
meeting.
them and determine which,
The closing of the books
what
is always a
needs
public
closing,
meeting.
it's always a public meeting.
And it's always at the public hearing on November 10th.
This is a very different story from what you were saying last time. I
No, I'm
was here.
sorry, maybe it's a different story, you were hearing different last time. This is the way it always is.
The only different stories I hear are in the street every other day.
You're asking if the capital reserve accounts are reviewed. They are yearly at the
Have
closing
they
of
ever
the
been
book.
reduced?
They have been changed, yes.
All year long.
It's, that, this is they use, their purpose is to be used for specific purposes. And they have been. And they have been changed and things have, but it all takes place at a public hearing, and as you've all heard me say, is we do things in the public. If you don't show up, you can't complain that we're not doing it in front of you.
And
We
if you
do
tell
it.
two different stories on two different nights, it makes it rather difficult.
No, it's not two
I
different
just think you're
stories at
hearing
two
two
different
different
nights. You may hear things different at two different nights because it doesn't really fit your picture except on one night and then the other night it might
But
fit in there a little bit different.
what is your opinion about as far as what we are discussing tonight? Because we're really just discussing this to find out how the public feels about it. So did you have an opinion about that? Because I'm keeping track so I know.
About, you're saying
This local law.
raising the,
Yes.
obviously I'm against it.
Okay, thank you. And Peggy, could you tell me how you felt about it?
Against it.
Thank you.
Can we clarify something? Are we having a discussion about raising it or giving you the option to, if you need to balance your budget, raise it? Let's be clear.
Yeah,
That didn't come out right.
Giving the
I'm not in
option.
favor of raising my taxes, you know that. I'm in favor of trusting my government to balance your budget. That's all I'm saying.
And so is Karl Marx.
Well, it seems to me that some of you people just want to fire everybody and then expect everything to get done when nobody's there. Yes.
To answer Mrs. Bruckner's question as to how much the projected cost to clean out the bush kill is, I believe the consultant gave a range of 300 to 400,000 or 3 to 5.
No,
That was said
2
earlier.
to 4 million.
no, he's talking two different
Our
things.
share would be 2 to
Our
300,000.
share would be 300,000 to 400,000, yes.
The cost would be in the million.
Whoa.
They're talking $4 to $5 million to clean up that little brook.
Why do we have to do it?
We don't have
We
to.
don't?
You don't?
Oh,
You let it go and destroy the next bridge next time.
Yeah. And then there will be no town office left.
all right,
because
so
that'll
you're
be the
saying
next
that
thing
it's
to
after
go.
the
We
they have
have
to
Whose bridge is
Hey,
The issue with the Bushkill Bridge has been, since the storm started, has been an issue of public safety.
Is that our bridge or the city's bridge?
We're not talking about the bridge, we're talking about, actually, we're talking about most of them are private bridges that were actually destroyed.
Okay.
We also hopefully live as a community, and I don't know. I don't want to see somebody build a $400,000 or $500,000 bridge this week, and in 6 months we have another major storm and the bridge goes again. And not only does that happen, but maybe somebody's house washes away and somebody gets injured or killed.
We got main
It's really
highway
a-
bridges that are
it's
compromised.
really a-
It's not
excuse me,
private.
it's really a public safety issue at this point.
All right.
That's the cleaning of the bush kill. At least, that's the way I view it, so.
So what do you, Cindy?
We've got main highway bridges that are compromised because of all the trees. It's not just the private bridges. There's
Well,
two
in
bridges on the
Bushkill,
Bushkill.
in the Bushkill themselves, those are county bridges, and they've done a good job at taking care of those. But yes, our public bridges, and there's town bridges that are being compromised.
Yes.
Unless the streams are cleaned out, they're gonna continue to be compromised. And the roads will continue to be compromised.
And while we have the funds from, the availability of funds from FEMA, we should take advantage of that and do it right.
Well, that's what we're trying to do.
I understand, but it's just, that's the point here. I don't want anybody to think that we're doing this for private homeowners. We're not. We're doing it for a lot of reasons, not just private homeowners.
The summary is, it's for the public safety.
That's right.
Yeah,
Mr. Van Aringen.
I live in West Shokan, and I agree with all the people who oppose this.
Excuse me a minute, please. I gave the floor to Mr. Barringer.
Bob Barringer,
You be
Sampsonville.
next.
Linda, I'm against this, all
Thank
right?
you, Bob.
I'd like to clarify something that, Rita, you said something about a 3% tax increase?
Oh, the budget was increased.
Okay. Your town general fund went up 23.5 this year. Your highway went up 7.5, and your fire went up 12.2.